Hey guys, Floowandereeze deck profile, just went top my locals. Been playing this since probably June of this year, and I'd say it's probably pretty consistent, definitely a top meta deck. Let's go into the one-offs first. So I've got one M-Pen, a lot of people like to play two. I play one because you can recycle it with the Stree and the Toucan. One Riser and one Apex. So Riser kind of clears away your opponent's normal summon on their turn, so then you just lock them. Apex for your Omni Negate. I've got 3 Rabina for your normal summon search for your level 4 lower wing beasts. 3 Eglin, which searches you the big ones. I've got 1 Stree, which banishes something from your opponent's field, graveyard, or yours. It can be either or, but you're probably going to get more plus going for the opponents. And then 1 Toucan to target a Floowandereeze card in your banish pile and add it back to your hand. So the nice loop is you Stree, target M-Pen in the grave if you've kind of run out of these in the grind. That banishes it. Toucan gets it back to hand, and then you have 2 to then normal summon on top. So you always have a level 7 in contention. So that's like the small Floowandereeze birds. That's the package for that. Then the other little stuff, I play 2 barrier statue. A lot of people only play 1. The reason why you play 2 is because you can't get Dark Rulered. Your opponent will usually normal summon, try and bait out the effects. So they'll normal summon, threaten to battle this. You use the map effect, and then you clear away the normal summon. Then they'll Dark Ruler, Imperm, something like that. So the second they do that, you then activate your trap, and then you bring out the second one. So they've used the normal summon, and they've still got the lock. So that's kind of why I played 2 of them. 1 DD Crow, because it's searchable. All of these are wing beasts, searchable off Rabina. And DD Crow is really good in this format right now. And then 3 D Shifter. This literally will win you games. This card is broken. If you can afford to play this card, then you can counter most of the meta. Tearlaments struggle against this deck. Sprite is a good matchup against me because they can just build a board. But because Ronan's been got banned and the Sprint card isn't out until at least next week of when we're recording, I don't have to worry too much about Sprite. Like, I haven't seen many, but Tearlaments get clapped right now. If you play correctly, if you know how to play, you usually use your normal summon from the map. Normal summon, chain block with the banish card so they can't have this there and then you finish that line of normal summoning with the barrier, and then you use your actual normal summon to continue, because they ain't stopping it, but it means you've now locked them out before you give them an opportunity. That's it for monsters though, so that's all the monsters. Going into the spells, I've got 3 of the Magnificent Map. This literally is like the key combo starter. It gives you immediate chain blocking, and it allows you to have an additional normal summon and normal summon your opponent's turn. I've got 3 of the Advent of Adventure. This allows me to kind of dodge Imperm, Veiler, gains me life points, so it means I won't lose the time. It searches the map and any of my Floowandereeze monsters. And then 1 of the Floowandereeze and the Unexplored Winds. Just being able to tribute your opponent's cards when they have like big problem cards, it's really handy. In the mirror match, that is what you need to find. And you can banish like this off of the map and then get it back with Toucan. So if you have Toucan in hand, or you have a Rabina to get to the Toucan, banish that, get it with that, and then boom, keep normal summoning. Going off of the Flunder spells, Free Prosperity. This is luckily a lot more cheaper than what it used to be. The deck, a lot of the plays you play, especially the funny stuff in the side deck that I'll show you in a minute, you don't use your extra deck. However, there are times where you build your extra deck for niche play. A lot of Flunder players I see nowadays just have the Lyrilusk to go into Zeus, and that's all they care about. Every single card in my extra deck has a purpose, and it can come up. I just went against Burning Abyss my last game, and I was able to put Zeus out against him because I just battled over one of his XCs and then was able to do 2 normal summons. I know I used 1 normal summon because I had a little bird already there. Normal summon, went into the Lyrilusk, straight away down as Zeus. But it's more interactions, but you'll see more what I'm on about. 3 Pot of Duality. You do not special summon. You just aren't special summoning unless you're in the very niche play, but that will never be the case. So digging 3 cards more, and it's just a 3+1 of your choice. It's really, really broken. 3 Book of Moon. You need this to avoid Imperm and Veiler. More Imperm. Your opponent half the time will be able to ash you, but it won't matter, especially if you have the map, because you chain block with all of your banished stuff. Imperm and Veiler, don't care about that. That's why the D-shifters work really well against stopping stuff like droplets, Ghost Ogre on your field spell, Effect Veiler, and Droll and Lockbird. These are cards that all can hurt you, but D-Shifter stops that. But this helps as well if you don't have the D-Shifter and you're worried about the Veiler Imperm. I've got 1 Terraforming to search this. I have so many ways to get this. It's such a broken card. You need to have the 1 Terraforming. 1 Call By. Hand traps still do hurt. The Ash can hurt. You can. Oh, I lost one of my games today. Not the match. I lost the first game because they just had the correct Ash. And then I run 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. I think there's more back row in this format right now, so I wanted to have a little bit extra. And finally, I can search it off the next card you're going to see. So I can search it off of one of the 3 Harpy's Feather Storm. This is the most broken card in the deck. If you pull that off, your opponent just can't activate monsters, period. Not in the hand, not in the field, not in the graveyard. And you can just chain that. So you go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, Chain Link 3, they go Chain Link 4 with a monster, and you're like, no, so it's a negate. And if they destroy it, you search the Harpy's Feather Duster, which came up against one of my opponents today. First opponent, Labyrinth, today I played against Frankie. He was just popping so much. I set this preemptively, thinking he's going to wipe my board. So his turn, he popped it. I had an opportunity. He started popping stuff and doing monster effects, and I thought, I'm not going to use this. Let him pop it, search this, and then I was able to wipe his board and then just win. And finally, the 1 Dreaming Town, just another way to get you into a normal summon on your opponent's turn during the main phase, and it Bookamoons your opponent's field if you bring out one of your 3 big ones. It is really broken, and if you just know smartly enough how to deal with the kind of the threats in the meta right now, you're going to be laughing. Your opponent is going to be, if you think going second, if you have a map, a Rabina, this on field, Egglin in hand, trap set, and pen. This is your standard board. You'll have this, you'll have that. This is kind of what you're ending on. These will be in hand. Your opponent will kind of be smart, go for the normal summon to out this. That's when you use the map effect. Go for that Egglin, search Riser, tribute Egglin, and N-Pen. Yeah, I know it sounds bad. You do that, spin back the normal summon. That's when they'll Dark Ruler you, because that's if they're smart. They waste the normal summon, then the Dark Ruler. That's why you then the trap gets out the Rabina, and the Rabina then gets you the 2nd barrier statue. So they've still used their normal summon, they are still locked, and like this will then come back to your hand. You'll have so much follow-up play. You're controlling them. You're not trying to OTK, you're trying to win by, this is my board, so you can't do anything. That's why I'm playing the 2 barrier statue, and it is working, it is broken. I'll go into my extra deck now to kind of show you what I mean by every card in there has a reason to be there. You could just cut this into the extra deck. What everyone believes is just not needed right now, but actually comes up so much. So firstly, we got some Link 1s. Anima and Link Rebo only require level 1s. Anima will just take your opponent's card, and then Link Rebo kind of just saves your ass from just dying. 9 times out of 10, because you can normal summon, no effect. Use map, normal summon, no effect, and you can still still special summon. So usually you go into these to then go into one of these. So you have either Wind the Wind Charmer or Dark the Dark Charmer. Because if you go into this and your opponent's playing a Wind deck, you summon it and then you can link again. And it's a Wind, so you have a lot of Winds. And Dark as well, because you're going to have the 2 level 1s. They're going to be Dark. And then you can kind of then climb up. So you can either go into a Nightmare Unicorn, just because you might as well. It's a good card, out stuff. Or something I like is Access Code Talker. I can grab any of my... If I'm going against Sprite, for example, go in Dark Charmer, take their Sprite Sprind. Isn't that a Dark?
Stars is Dark.
No, Sprite Sprind. The new one. Yeah, I can take Sprite Sprind or just any kind of generic level 2 Dark IP Masquerade even, and link it away into an Access Code Talker. That's from normal summon, summon this, take your stuff, go to Access Code Talker. Now I've got a 4300, a minimum of Banish 1. It could be Banish 2 if I use Wind Charmer as well. I did play the Water Charmer very briefly. The play was to Water Charmer, take your Halki Fibrax, then go into Access Code. However, that's now banned, so I had to kind of go back to the Anima. And then another link as well I have is the Underworld Goddess. This just deals with all your opponent's difficult monsters. There will be so many times, if you go against Virtual World or Geomathmech, if they bring out Final Sigma, Flunder can't out that easily. It's a very difficult card to out. Any kind of towers monster that has just general protection, we can't out that very easily, so we need something like this to like bring out a load of little birds on your turn, my turn, link them away, including one of yours, that's the problem, to go into that. Zeus package, I got the Lyrilusk into Downward into Zeus, so 2 level 1s, attacked directly, Downward the main phase 2, then Zeus for a 2-pop Zeus. It's just very easy plays, you know, Zeus is a broken card, so I can take full advantage of it. And then with the rest of the remaining space is where I get a bit cheeky with it. So you'll see in the side deck a certain card I'm playing, but I am playing DPE, Tearlament Kit, Giganta Sprite, Prime Mathmech EXEs, and also this as well, just because people play this against me a lot and I just don't want to lose to it, a Cowboy. This is for Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If you can play Ghost Reaper, you should be playing it because it's so abusable. I have so many spots in my extra deck. That means I have 5 spots. This can interchange. So the DPE is because I've seen people play just slapping it into the decks against Sky Striker. It's really good against. Anyone can just slap it in because it's at 3. This could easily be something like a Drytron, Mubeta Fafnir. It could easily be something like a Sword Soul Cheng Ying or anything like that. There's so many cards. It could be the Runic level 3 fusion if you want to kind of deal with that. You could have, instead of this, you could have Sky Striker Kagari if you're worried about that. There's so many cards it could be. So you have 5 spaces, and then usually when you go popped, especially game 1, you banish these 5, and then I usually go for the Wind Charmer because the most likelihood is my opponent's not playing a wind-based deck, so I don't bother with that. But you can, yeah, you have such an abusive play against this. Against a hero player, I've done this against him. Against Sprite, I've gone Giganta Sprite. Kit as well. All of these hurt the deck. Cowboy is because two of the decks in the meta right now can play Cowboy and win in time, and that's the one thing I do not like, is losing on time against any of my opponents. Mathmech can easily bring out 2 level 4s to Cowboy you for game. Same with Tearlaments. They will do it with Elf, so you can't even imperm it. So they will make sure you bring it out with Tearlament Sprite Elf to protect it. It's not something I want to deal with. But that's the extra deck, and I'll go into the side deck now. Okay, going into the side deck. Hand traps. I've got, first of all, the 3 that I've just mentioned, the Ghost Reaper and the Winter Cherries. You choose what you banish and what you don't banish with the pots. So this is always going to be live, because if you win game 1, you're more than likely going to go second. So you just disrupt your opponent. They haven't got a board for you to have to deal with, or it's a very weak board. Break through it easily. You build your board, and you've seen that there's layers upon layers of making sure your board is not getting broken. So your opponent is not getting through that. We've got, because again we don't want to lose on time, 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Against someone, like I went against Drytron the other day and I got up to like 18,000 life points, and it was really funny. You drop that when your opponent, when you're going game 3, you don't want to lose on time, you want to gain life points. This is what this does for you, and you always do it when your opponent activates an effect to summon. So imagine they go Schism effect, you chain. It guarantees you're gaining a minimum of say 2200 for the window. If they go like Nova, they go any kind of like E-Telly even, you need to make sure you do it when your opponent is activating effect to special summon, but it just means you won't lose on time, and that's the key thing. You don't want to lose on time. A dumb play that I play, but it actually comes up a lot, and I've done it against Sword Soul today. He punished me afterwards, but I got to do it in game 2. Dark Samorg with 3 anti-spell fragrance. So Dark Samorg is a winged beast level 7 or higher monster, so I can search it off Eglin. And it says your opponent can't set. Period. If your opponent is playing a back row deck and you go first, you drop that, they can't set any of their traps, and then the anti-spell fragrance is so they can't set their spells. It means you completely shut them off of any defensive play. They have to normal or special summon in attack position. Usually that's not the first thing you summon. You usually do it on the response of the beginning of the turn. They go main phase, you activate your trap, and then you bring it out. But they'll have something like M-Pen to stop them from using special summon monster effects, so you stop them from special summon monster effects and back row. You might have a barrier statue, so it's like they can't special summon and they haven't got any back row. It means that you're just very much protected against a lot of cards, and that's why I've kind of played Dark Samorg, because it is crazy broken, the fact that I can just drop this on people. And they just get locked. It's like, cool, you have no back row, you can't set a card and pass to make sure you don't lose. No, you have nothing. It's a really good combo. And then finally, I've got what used to be in the main, but It might go back. I can't decide yet. I'm right now liking the Feather Duster because Featherstorm, because it really helped me out. 3 Dark Ruler no more, and 2 Twin Twisters. So the Dark Ruler, if I'm going second against an opponent who's going to build a broken board, I want to have that. And the Twin Twisters is because back row is about, I lose to a lot of floodgates. It's not easy. You can break through them, but it takes a lot of grinding, and with a limited time on the duels, you don't want that. I would be playing something like Evenly Match or Cosmic Cyclone if it wasn't for the fact that my deck loses to a Lancia. So what's the point of me playing cards that loses to Lancia when people already get, like, what's the point of siding in game 2 and 3 cards that lose to the main hand trap that could be sided in against me? My opponent could easily side in Lancias for me. That means my Cosmics will be then offline after I use them and pay a K. I would waste my battle phase with an Evenly Match to then still lose to a Lancia. And the whole deck loses to a Lancia, so there's no point playing stuff that's going to lose to Lancia anyway. That's my kind of theory with it. But that's the side, that's the whole deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is something that I've kind of been working on for a really long time. If your meta at your locals is a bit more leaning towards like builder board decks, like Sprite's still very prominent, then I would probably recommend putting these in the side deck and then these in the main deck, just so you have kind of going first and going second options. But because the meta is not looking too much in break my board, I'm not stressed about this just yet. Peace.